Hey, we made it.
Your boy, oh my God, your boy Ryan's here. What up?
Oh, hey, it's your boy Easy Robot.
Oh, do I need to pull out your cortical stem or whatever that thing? And then just like have you annihilated, even though you're a complete being.
Yeah,
you're literally a clone. I'm just gonna like
just totally
destroy you.
Yeah, exactly.
Just because maybe.
What's a soul?
Another thing without a soul is you're listening to Turtle Soup, the internet, nay, the world's only community supported podcast dedicated to the ongoing journey of the TMNT all the way from the very beginning until my cat decides to stop burrowing her way under little covers and laying under them like a human.
Oh, yours does that too.
Which I don't want to stop.
Right.
So the podcast ain't going anywhere.
You know what I mean? Yeah, no, it's adorable. Yeah, they get.
So your cat does that too?
Oh yeah, Cheeto gets tucked. That's what we call it. He gets tucked.
Dude, I don't know. Like I've never seen her do it, but literally since it got like a lot colder here, she's just doing that all the time.
Oh yeah,
like she's all black.
Yeah,
and she's like laying on our black couch. And I think it's particularly funny because something about, I guess, like getting my blood sugar stuff under control is I get a lot colder than I used to.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a cool feeling because I used to always be Mr. Hot Man. Turns out when you have diabetes, like, you know, and your blood sugar's way high, you're always hot. That's another symptom. So now I get cold. I get like, give me the throw blanket cold, which I never got before.
Oh.
So my wife has a throw blanket that's a wild ass. It's almost like a meme of like a cat head like eating pizza. It's all like crazy looking and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was using that the other day and I put it on the couch. She snuggled underneath that, so she was underneath a cat eating pizza blanket.
Yeah,
with her little head peering out
just
on this couch. All you can see are little yellow eyes, and you're like, oh my God, are you under there?
Yeah.
And she goes in our bed and does that.
Yep.
And it's crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I don't want it to end. You know what I'm saying? Another thing I don't want to end. Is the fact that we're live on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? And some listeners may be like, maybe it's the end. You know what I mean? And the truth is, no. Just life, holidays, stuff. But we hope to be back to a more regular schedule. So be sure to subscribe if you're not listening on YouTube. Hit that bell icon to get all the notifications. And if you already subscribed, let us know. Let people know that we're live. Let people know,
tell your friends.
You seem like you're into turtles. You know what I'm saying? Like you got your white makeup on. You're like, I like turtles.
Yeah.
Like, well, then listen to Turtle Soup because like what's up? And we're on the YouTubes. This episode, every episode of Turtle Soup is a step in the journey, and every episode's important. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And there's two wonderful patrons that helped bring this important journey to you. You know what I mean? And we'd be saying clang all over the place if it wasn't for Andersberg and Duncan Gale. You know what I'm saying? Like long times.
I do. Yep.
Big patrons.
Yep.
You could become a patron for as little as $1. You know what I'm saying? Over at patreon.com/turtlesoup show. We've been making this podcast and all your stuff is really helpful. And we wouldn't have this gear and have the opportunity to do this show live and stuff without our patrons. So thank you to patrons, in particular, Anders and Duncan.
Yes.
This one's for you, fellas.
It is.
Where are we at today? We talked about every step on the journey is ultra important. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
Shall not be missed. You know what I mean? What step have we taken today?
Today, Ryan, we are in the year of our Lord 1998, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check my notes. Indeed, yes. April 16th and 23rd, respectively. Did I say that right? Yes. For some reason, I want to say respectfully, but no, it's respectively.
Yes, thank you. Very good.
Episode 17 and 18 of Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation. So we're making our way downtown, y'all. We're walking past and we're homebound. So we're hopefully going to get through it. 2 episodes tonight.
That old trail horse turned around. You know what I'm saying? And time to get back to the barn. You know what I mean? Like that's how it's going.
Right. So so that's where we're at tonight in the journey. So,
tonight.
Yeah. So
what song did you do that on? You did that tonight.
Oh, it's probably a creep song. Has to be.
Yeah. I always enjoyed it. Anyway.
Yeah.
What were you saying? Sorry.
I was just going to ask you how have you been, because it's been like since last year.
Yeah, I know. First episode of 2024. You know what I'm saying? Some people are calling it the Kobe year because that's what 24. You know what I mean? But I'll never forget. This was like literally if like my life was a movie, 2020, how terrible 2020 was for everybody,
Yeah.
like this scene would have been in this movie, and you'd be like, this never happened.
Right.
Literally, one of my coworkers came up to me in 2020. It was actually 2019. It was like
Okay.
it was toward the holidays. I'm standing with, one of my favorite mediators. He's a really nice guy, old school, he's great.
Mhm.
And we're standing there kind of wrapping up, and this coworker walks up, and she's kind of new agey and very like motivational and stuff. And
yeah, sure.
she walks up and she goes, "Gentlemen, it is almost 2020." And we go, "Oh yeah," and my mediator is like, "Oh yes, ma'am,
Right.
And she goes, "And all I gotta say about 2020 is it's gonna be a great year. Think about it, 2020 vision. You know what I mean? There's many blessings are gonna come in 2020."
Yeah.
And Marvin and the mediator, who's not that name, says he goes, "Oh, ma'am, I believe yes, many blessings in 2020." And I'm like, "Yeah, no, 2020, it's an even number. You know what I mean? I like even numbers. 19's annoying. You know what I'm saying? Like even though it's the secret number in the Dark Tower series. You know what I'm saying? Besides that, 19's got nothing going for it.
No.
You know what I mean? And I guess one really good Tegan and Sarah song. Besides that, 19's got nothing going.
Winger didn't write a song called 19. It was 17.
No.
So
I'm like, let's go. And so I was like, 2020, 2020 vision. That's right. Okay, get out of here. And it was awful.
Yeah.
So hopefully the Kobe year is just gonna be us going Kobe.
Oh, Kobe. Yeah.
Like throwing Kobe.
Oh,
you know
it's
what I
so
mean?
weird that you say that, because like at the church job last night, one of the other audio guys did that. Like, I mean, I know it's a normal place to throw things into basket and
And say Kobe.
garbage. Say Kobe. He did that, but you bring it up here, it's serendipitous, and I think it's just happening.
Now, I mean, let's hope it's Kobe when he was playing at 24.
Oh,
Let's
of course.
hope it wasn't.
Hope not the way he ended.
So this year the other way. No.
No.
But no, first one. No, been doing good. The biggest thing for me is a couple of things. You may have noticed if you're watching on YouTube and you have a couple peepers, you may have noticed that I cut my beard.
Yeah.
Off. It looks weird. I decided new year, new beard, new me. That's what I want to do this year. I want to not shave.
Yeah.
And I cut it on January 1st. So I can be like, all right, so that's an easy day to remember. And I've been growing it the whole year. I'm going to go a whole year.
Yeah.
I'm going to get it trimmed. I'm not going to go like wild man. I'm going to get it trimmed occasionally to look good. But I couldn't remember when I was growing my beard and my beard was getting really out of control. And I thought, I need to go get it trimmed.
Yeah.
Then this like intrusive thought hit me, or I might shave it off.
Yeah.
New year, new beard, new you. And I'm like,
so
I actually polled my family about it. I asked the kids and Alicia, I'm like, I'm thinking about doing this. And it's so funny because I asked them all independently, right?
Oh, okay.
So it wouldn't affect the other ones.
Oh, absolutely.
They all literally said the same thing, which was weird.
What would they say?
They literally said, they go, it's weird when you shave and you look weird and you look different.
Yeah.
But I've seen you do it before. I'm not a big fan of that look, but whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And the third person would, they all said the same thing. And Kara was the third person I asked. And I go, I was really disappointed. I'm like, you said the same thing as like your brother and your mom.
Yeah.
Like somebody tell me, hell yeah. Or, oh, no, you don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Someone give me something other than just whatever you want to do. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I did it because I was like, I'm doing it.
Might as well. Yeah.
I have to keep the mustache because, I mean, if I don't have a mustache, I look mega, mega weird.
Yeah. Then your kids won't know who you are at all.
Yeah. And the mustache isn't really part of the beard to me.
It's an accessory. It's an accessory, but not in its own. It could be its own entity.
Because back in the 19th century, I mean, people had, if you had just a beard, you didn't have a mustache. Like that was a combo.
Really?
You know what I'm talking about? You've probably
I've seen pictures.
Generals and shit that have like a beard, but like no top part.
Right.
Like the mustache was a separate item.
Its own thing.
You know what I mean? So, I'm just doing this. And when the stubble grows out, it gets into like a real like Doc Holliday.
Oh,
that I enjoy.
Nice.
You know what I mean? I love that Wild West look of like the mustache, the little Billy Goat scruff here.
Oh yeah.
And then the stubble. I mean, that's
it. Just TCB.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Yeah, exactly.
But the biggest thing I think since we last did the podcast was for Christmas, we all went out and bought really nice bikes.
Oh, okay.
We got like super nice bikes, and we've been biking around the neighborhood.
Buy or motor?
It's been a lot of fun. Bicycle.
Okay. Yeah.
Not
I don't know. I didn't know how else to say
buy or motor. I don't know which one I should say. You know what I'm saying?
Sickle cycle at some point. That
sickle cycle.
English is terrible.
But we've been riding around the neighborhood and going over to the neighborhood next door, which has been a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
And it has done wonders for my blood sugar.
Oh, I can imagine.
They always tell you, oh, exercise. I'm like, okay,
Right.
exercise. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, sure.
I can eat some wild stuff like carb, like mashed potatoes, French fries, stuff like that. And my blood sugar numbers 2 hours after are almost identical to my fasting numbers. It's like revolutionary.
That's awesome.
It's awesome. So like even today, I didn't bike ride today because I was at work and I had this migraine and like whatever. And I came home and slept and all this stuff. After lunch, my blood sugar was the same as it was before. I'm like, dude, big benefits. So yeah, been biking a lot. And it's been a lot of fun.
Man, I love biking. It's neat. It's just I don't have a place to store them, and I just got all these excuses. Yeah. But I love the stationary bike. I always loved that and been a big proponent of that. But the scenery gets dull. But other than that, and then my dick falls asleep, and then it's true, and that's a very weird feeling to be flaccid, and then just where all the blood's still going.
I brought that up to Preston because we were talking about the bikes.
Yeah.
He says something like, well, Eric had that stationary bike. And I was like, yeah, but his dick always falls asleep.
Yep, it's true.
And it's funny because you know how he's like super detailed. He's like Father Preston's like, if you remember, you say something half of something, he's like, I got that in the spank bank.
Exactly.
He didn't know that.
Interesting. Huh.
To the point where he goes, really? And I actually restated it. I went, maybe you didn't understand.
Yeah, let me rephrase.
On Eric's stationary bike, whenever he talks about every time he talks about a stationary bike, he talks about his dick falls asleep.
Yeah, it's true. It's real talk.
Get it? Mm-hmm. Get it? And Father Preston's like, really? And I'm like, oh my God, how?
Yeah.
I said,
how do you not remember this?
I said, it's just like Eric with pickles. If I ever say I don't like pickles or anything about gross pickles, Eric goes, bread and butter.
Bread and butter.
Every single time.
It's true.
Like, and that's his only statement. It's never like, well, man, like some pickles can be gross, but really bread and butter, it's always that bread and butter.
Bread and butter.
Every single time.
Yep.
And he knew about that one.
Right.
But he didn't know about that. But no, we had a stationary bike we bought really cheap at like Play It Again Sports. It was like so cheap that like it stopped working.
Yeah.
And you couldn't adjust like the toughness of the ride, so it was always just stuck at like tough. And and then the cat, when she was a kitten, like destroyed the seat on it.
Yeah.
And stuff, picking it apart and like whatever. But no, it's been so fun to go biking, and it's been with the whole family, and it's been a blast. So that's awesome. That's been doing really good for me and stuff. So that's the biggest thing: biking, playing some video games, chilling.
Speaking of biking again, I think I might have told you this before. I don't remember. So when I used to bike as a kid, I would, you know how they had the bikes that like the Huffy, and it had the on the frame, the one that's like kind of attaching the actual gears that goes up to the handlebar. That it would have a little slot where you could put like a water bottle or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I didn't fill it with water, Ryan. I filled it with sweet tea.
Dude.
So I'm out.
Dude.
I'm like 10-year-old just biking it all across the neighborhood.
That sweet tea.
And I just like, oh, I'm parched. Let me hit that sweet tea in the middle of summer in Florida.
I mean, that's literally a slice of Florida life right there. I have no problem with that.
Cracks me up every time.
We went up, so we're doing this all the super expensive way, which is just annoying. But but I mean, you want good stuff because that was the thing.
Sure,
is we were like, we want to buy bikes, but we're not going to go to Target.
And
buy the $150 mountain bike, 4 of them, and then they break and it sucks.
Right.
And my buddy Dallas worked at a bike shop for a long time, and I just heard a lot of stories about like you buy those bikes, then you take them to an actual bike store, bike shop, and they go, we can't replace these parts. They're like weird. Like we can't fix your bike. Like. So we went to the local bike store in Winthrop Village. Shout Bike Works, you know what I'm saying? No, not a paid sponsor, but maybe one day. When the price total came out, we were like, because the bikes were like, they were like $500-$600 a piece, like what? But we got little bottle holders, we got like little headlights and stuff, and bike locks and all this stuff,
bells and whistles.
But I had to tell the kids, I'm like, we're buying these water bottles. I'm like, but we're just gonna put water in them,
right?
Because we're not going to put like soda and other shit in them because that's gross. Number one, like, because they're not going to be clean and it's going to be nasty. and you're gonna leave it in there, and it's gonna get moldy, and then it's plastic, and you're gonna drink out of it, all this stuff like that. But when I was a kid, we all rode like Huffy, like BMX, like fixed gear bikes.
Oh, okay. Right.
Like they didn't have the rack for a drink. I don't think I ever had, because I would have been putting a Coke in there, or
just straight
tea
up,
or whatever. Like I'd have been just like you. But we just never really had the bikes we had. We never had that option. So I'd just be parched as hell, and we'd basically go to friends' houses and get drinks there, like drink out of the hose, or like go inside or whatever, and like. But on our first big ride, we took like a 5-mile ride.
Yeah.
And we had our water bottles. And it's so funny because Kara was like filling up her water bottle. It was like halfway full. And she's like, I don't usually drink a lot of water. And I'm like, well, you might want to. What's the harm in just filling it up? Right. What I mean, all the way, because you just dump it out when you get home.
Sure.
She's like, no, I know how much water I drink, and that's the amount of dry I drink, right?
Yeah.
Well, we get halfway through this ride, and she's like, I want more water.
I want more water.
And I'm
exactly.
like, and the rest of the ride, she's like, I really underestimated my water. That was really stupid. I can't believe this. And we all still had water. And we're like, you know what I mean? And she's like, I can't believe it. I thought, because normally I don't drink a lot of water. I'm like, yeah, normally you're not biking 5 miles.
Right. That's true.
I'm like,
exactly.
That's a difference. You know what I mean? You're just chilling at home, like watching YouTube videos. Like, you don't drink a lot of water then.
Right. Yeah. No.
But it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. Biking up to Publix and stuff. And, yeah, good times. Good times.
That's awesome. So, y'all are right down the road. So y'all get to do the whole. You could just go to the grocery store.
There's a neighbor. Yeah, there's like a neighborhood, and then like a Publix and like a Starbucks and like all these places to eat, like right next to our neighborhood.
Yeah.
So yeah, we went all through there and rode around that thing. Went to Publix. I brought my backpack. We got some stuff put in the backpack. It feels. Something about going to the store on your bike,
and I can imagine
getting some snacks and coming home. You're kind of like, I earned that shit. Like I earned that, dog. Like you know what I mean. Like let's go.
Yeah.
So it's just I don't need to keep going on, but it's really been a blast, and it's really been helping me health wise. So it's been a lot of fun.
That's the important part. So yeah.
Oh yeah, biking like crazy. How about you, man? How you been?
I've been well. Christmas was good, better than last year, and
there you go.
Yeah. And so but we put out I threw a creep song together very quickly for Christmas.
Yeah, you did.
I was like, I just got to write something for Christmas, and I threw it together in like a day, and then just
I really liked it. Yeah,
cool. Thanks. Yeah, we'll probably put it at the end of this episode, even though it's post Christmas, but and then let me see what else. Oh, I have a friend back here. I think you can see them.
Yes.
Yeah, that is tentatively titled Furbalise. It's like Fur-Elise, but it's Furbalise. So
wow. Is it a snake? Is it like a snake with Furby's head?
So it is a long Furby, and if we're friends on Instagram, you've probably gotten a thing from me about like this account that makes these, but Shannon made this one. Shannon, my wife, she made this one herself, and they sell for like hundreds of dollars, and it has a Furby's face for those audio listeners.
Okay,
but the rest of it is just like a sewn together body with like stuffing in it. But I don't know if you can hear this, but that's the sound of a spine that's inside of this.
Yeah,
and it's fascinating, and
oh, so it got like form up and stuff.
Oh yeah, so I can like bend it and have it wrap around my neck, that's like terrifying. So I can just post it like this. That's freaky.
That's terrifying. That's terrifying.
So I see your Krang, and I challenge you with Furbalise.
Furbalise, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
I mean,
that was amazing.
Like we might have to have a little competition one day.
And then
might have to have them both talking.
Oh yeah, they could have their own podcast probably.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, they'll take over for us when we get too tired to do it.
And then that was one of my gifts from Shannon, my wife. And then the other one, I'll have to post a picture of it. Have you seen those obvious plants? Like that's the website where it's like just leg, and it's like a fake toy. And I don't know. It's super weird toys that they make. Like it's almost as if like toys you would find at the flea market that are knockoffs and stuff like that. But it's just a leg in a package, and it says leg just leg. And then another one says like, another one's just a bunch of ducks, and it says a bunch of ducks named Matthew. And then a burst on the side, says no Gregs.
No Gregs.
Yeah, no Gregs. And
that's awesome.
So there's a bunch of those. Well, there's this one superhero that looks like an old He-Man toy, and his name is Mr. Nipples. And he's just got a bunch of nipples painted on him. Well, he was selling for $200. And Shannon's like, I'm not doing that. So she got a John Cena toy. I don't have him in here, actually. Shit. But yeah, there was a she made it herself and then did all the packaging and just replicated the whole thing. It was hilarious, and it's got all kinds of bad English on it and is fantastic.
Nice.
Then she's like, all right. Yeah, the last thing that she got me, she's like, she put on YouTube. And this video, which is like a thing that she made of, I think it's one of the Santa Claus movies where he's killing people, and I think it's Bill Goldberg, the wrestler, is playing him. Fran Drescher's in it.
Yeah.
She plays this video, and it's remember the cat keyboard that we got? She plays Jingle Bells on it, I think, which she does not. My wife is not. She doesn't actually. She can play some stuff, but she's not really a musician. So she learned that, and then all of a sudden, I hear acoustic guitar playing, and it's playing "Christmas Takes Up Too Many Days" from our Creeps Anonymous record, "Dawn We Now," and I was like, oh, that's really weird. And then my wife starts singing, and she's covering that song. And I'm like, what? And this is insane. I quickly realized that she had put it through a karaoke machine to get Preston's vocals out of it. But still, singing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really good. And she's doing a really good job because it's a fun, fast song. She's like, Preston sings and plays really fast. It's deceptively simple. And she tells me once that part's over, she's like, yeah, now I know you're going to get mad and be like, everyone says that Preston songs are the best and that all Preston songs, Preston's a god. Yes, and I know. But the reason why is because I couldn't cover New Year's Steve and New Year's Dave because those songs are like just...
There's too much going on with those songs. Too much
going on those. And so I was like, oh, that's fair. That's totally fair. Well, Ryan, I thought the song was over, but then a beat comes in. And my wife does, I think, 16 bars on late stage capitalism, referencing the Grinch and Whoville, and just raps. It's amazing. And I was like, well, this is I didn't know you had this in you. I knew she could write it. Like, that's fine.
Sure.
I did not know that she could perform it because you and I have been
dropping bars.
She was dropping bars, dude. It's fantastic. I'm going to try to throw it at the end of, I might even throw it on the end of this one too.
Okay.
But,
you should.
Yeah, because it's wonderful, and I want everyone to like spam her and tell her she needs to put out an album. But because you and I have worked with people that we know are super talented and can write stuff and this and that, but when they get behind a mic, they can't do it. And it's not that they can't hit pitch or anything like that. It's just that
they just don't know how they get choked up. Like,
I remember when our friend did that for the first time. You and I were both kind of like, oh. Like, we thought he would have just been able to do it. And I guess it's one of those things, too, where you realize that you have an ability that you thought was just commonplace, but you're actually like, oh, okay, that's neat. I guess I am better than most people. Okay, cool. And just a little pat on your back.
Totally.
So that happened. And the only other thing real quick is that I got this behemoth. I'm going to see. Can you see this?
Oh, God, yes.
This is the Art of G.I. Joe, the hardcover omnibus that is 712 pages of just G.I. Joe art. And so...
that's sick.
Yeah, it is massive. And
wow.
It came yesterday, and I'm about to do a video on it on the Easy Opens channel. But
nice.
Yeah, so I'm super excited about it. And I wanted to have, like, in my head when I kickstarted it, I was like, oh, Ryan and Preston will come over. We'll get some drinks or some whatever, get some food, then wash our hands, and then we'll get some gloves. And then they'll be fingered, though. And we'll gently turn each page and just pour over the thing. And I'm like, so I get it out, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, this thing is unwieldy. It's, like, so massive.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, I want us to look at it.
I still want to come over and have drinks and use gloves.
Oh, absolutely. We could totally drink and use gloves.
Through the book.
Yes. So, but I guess I was thinking that it would be a lot easier than what I had imagined. But things work better with pairs and more people, and that's how we do here on Turtle Soup. And
Oh
that's
yeah,
what we're
no,
doing here
I
tonight.
mean, like more hands make lighter work. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Oh, precisely.
So we can all lift the book. It'd be like
right.
light as a feather,
Yes.
stiff as a board. And we'll probably be stiff as a board too.
I'm still walking erect since the day this book came here. So
that's so good.
So yeah, so that's
good.
pretty much been me.
No, that's awesome. Wow.
Yeah, we did a because you and we were supposed to do this last week, but I think you weren't feeling well or something happened. And,
I had like a contracted some kind of stomach thing. It passed really quickly, but the day we were supposed to do the show, like I was like, I don't know if I could do the whole show.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
and,
I think this is just more adjustments my body's making, but every once in a while it knocks me out. But yeah.
But either it was this week or last week or the week before, one of the two. I jumped on for a minute and just did a quick, chef special, kind of just talking about things. And one of the things I talked about was us trying to expedite everything. So yeah, we're doing the 2 episodes still. M. Wilson in the chat was who normally isn't with us on
normally it's lodge night. Normally
it's
lodge night, and then he's in at the end. He's like from the top, boys.
From the top, exactly. Yeah, it's like clockwork, and he's here tonight. And unfortunately, I guess like he didn't realize that we don't do the pregame show anymore. So yeah, sorry to disappoint you.
And that is like probably going to continue until we finish with the next mutation, and then we'll readdress it.
Right.
But yeah, like we just made that kind of call because we wanted to be able to knock these out, and we realized that if we're going to do 2 episodes at a time and still have the same kind of content, that we wanted to, not rush through them too much, that the pregame show would make the show too long. I love the pregame. Like it's like my favorite, one of my favorite parts of doing the show. But we're probably gonna bring that, but we'll readdress that after we're done with the series. Which we're not 2 at a time. We're not gonna be that far away.
No,
you know what I mean.
No.
So, But no, M. Wilson's one of my favorite people.
Oh, absolutely. Oh yeah.
But are you ready to get into this content? Speaking of getting it going?
Of getting it going, absolutely. I am ready to get into this. Now, Turtle Soup here. We like to keep it 100% on the board,
100.
above board,
100.
Up to breast. Behind the curtain constantly. There is no curtain here at Turtle Soup.
No.
It's just all air. That's all it is. And so I just want to confess that I have watched both of these episodes. It's been like 2 weeks. So we'll see if I remember exactly like certain things that happened, or if I'm gonna it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, no, I got you. I watched them today.
Okay, so good. So
Eric's been a sweetheart, and he's been doing all the notes, and I really appreciate it.
Hey,
so I'll bring that. You brought the notes, and we'll put it together.
Put it together.
What I'm saying? They're not ultra, complex.
No.
So did you want me to take the first one? You take the second one? Like we never figured this out because we don't do our own, like we're not doing our own notes.
Yeah, I know.
So what'd you want to do?
I don't really have a preference.
Okay. I'll take the first episode. You take the second one. We'll see how that flows.
Let's do that.
We'll leave plenty of room for the other one to interject.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay. Are you ready to go?
Let me see. Yep. I am ready to go.
All right. Ninja Turtles, Next Mutation, episode 17. You know what I mean? It's called Mutant Relations. You know what I mean? We're in 1998, boys, and farther than we've ever been. And this episode deals with things that are potentially ethically wrong.
Oh, yeah.
When science goes too far. You know what I mean? And also a callous disregard for turtle kind.
Yes.
So that's what we're dealing with. So the episode starts out much like any other turtle episode. There's some and it's like and there's fart noises, and there's like and for some reason and you're in New York, and it's still Batman Forever is still a thing, is still coming out.
Still
like catch that again, boys. And you have Raph and Mike walking through the sewers having a debate over who's stronger, Batman or Superman.
Right.
Raph is on the Batman plan. I understand that because Raph would really I think Raph is definitely a Batman fan. Like it sounds like he would be on the side of Batman.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he actually makes good points because Mikey does that. Well, basically Superman's a god.
Right.
And I'm like, fair. But that's the whole thing about Batman and Superman. That's actually kind of cool. Is that like, but Batman of anyone with his planning could do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Despite shoving kryptonite somewhere in Batman or in Superman, you don't know what Batman would do.
You don't.
And they might like it. Yeah. So it quickly devolves to Mike offering Raph some gum, which turns out to be chili pepper flavored. Seems like a gag, but Mikey says he chews that crap all the time.
All the time.
He's like, I'm on this. Like I passed up Big Red a long time ago. like I could take 800 Big Reds and it wouldn't do anything to me.
Right.
I'm on the next step. You know what I mean? It's chili pepper flavored. Which makes it not necessarily a joke then.
That's true.
It's Mikey being like, you want some of my gum?
Right. I mean, he says it. He says it like right there. He's like, chili pepper gum? Like, you dig? Like, and I guess Raph just didn't hear it.
And Raph's like, he doesn't dig.
He doesn't. He totally doesn't.
No. Like, what's up with that? But this is going to work into what happens later. You know what I'm saying? So this is very consequential. So we got to Dr. Queese in his lab. You know what I mean? Your boy is still around. He's got like an eye patch on, and you're like, what?
Right.
But we figure out what happened. He is controlling this BattleBot boy that has a real human eyeball in it.
Yes.
That's rolling through the sewers with like a little grippy grabby arm. You know what I'm saying? Looking around, and he actually is tracking the turtles, and he picks the gum up that Raph spit out, because Raph spit the gum out because he was like, "No, dude, that's not certified." And he spit it out. This leads to him grabbing the gum, and we kind of figure out that Dr. Queese actually makes a note to himself to clone another eye, because he took his eye out and he put it in the robot.
Yeah.
To be
his eye. Like, that's how the camera
that he sees through.
Fascinating.
I'm like, that could have just been a camera, but you're looking at it through a computer. It's not like you're piloting it, like, because you can see through that eye.
Right.
It makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
It's like really weird.
Like, did he have all the components to make it a camera and just didn't have the lens? So he's like, oh, let me just pop my eye out and I'll clone another one of these and just boop. Like, oh my goodness. Makes no sense.
And eventually we see that, like, Dr. Queese does make another eye. He pops it in. Now he's got both his eyes again. And he gets a call from the Dragon Lord on his shell phone. Which I got to give him credit for. 98. I mean, the big antenna is annoying, but the little phone, that's a pretty good size.
It is.
I mean, that's way smaller than a lot of phones were in 98. You know what I'm saying? So he is next level on that phone.
Oh yeah, he seems like a guy who's like on the cusp. Like, he seems like he's like hip to like all the technology.
He's an early adopter,
except for camera technology. Except for that. Other than that,
ever camera, he's still going back to the dark ages with the Hellraiser camera technology. But besides that, it's pretty good. So we get the Dragon Lord, who's on the other end. And he's basically calling to check up on Dr. Queese's progress on making turtle clones, which he calls clowns. Yes. And Dr. Queese is like, it's clones. And he's like, call me your majesty. And it's like, whatever. And it's pretty. So you kind of get the premise there. It's like, that's what he's working on. That's why he grabbed the gum, because he's going to use it as a biosample to clone Raph. And that's kind of what happened. So this is the part. So this episode's got stuff. Like, it does. This episode was like written as like a fever dream, I think, and then like no one edited it, because then there's just stuff. The stuff from this point on gets like, what's happening? So Donnie is in the sewer, and we don't know how much longer later this is, but I mean, the way the show cuts, it feels like it's like in the sewer, like right now.
Right.
It's Donnie using his new Eye in the Sky remote thing he has for his arm. So usually he had to use Eye on the Sky in the computer. Right. And that is, canon. He had to use the computer to do it. Then they'd certified, fire up the Hummer and leave. Well, now he's got it on a wrist thing. Right. That looks like a Pip-Boy from Fallout. And he's got that little thing, and he's like working on that. Yeah. And it automatically tells him that someone's approaching. He's like, oh, who is it? And it's Raph.
It's Raph.
But it's a little too Raph.
A little too, you know what I mean? Too much of a good thing.
It's like Raph if he had too much of a good thing.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I
Too much of a
do.
good thing.
I do. I love that
And this is the part.
It's so good.
This is the part where I want you to realize a couple things. One, Raph doesn't speak. Raph looks like a zombie.
Yep.
But he's equipped with all of Raph's stuff, including a 100% match eye band, like bandana,
right?
Ripped in the same way, same weapons, same like belt across his chest with the R on it.
Right.
I mean, he's identical, but he looks like a zombie. He's like his mouth's drooped, his eyes are hooded, and he's just like whatever. So Donnie's like, "Come on, Raph, what are you doing, man? Like, what, you're not talking to me now? Like, come on, bro." And Raph kicks him. Like, roundhouse kicks him.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Bro, I don't want to spar right now, bro. I'm doing eye in the sky, bro. What's going on, bro?" And he comes up to Raph, and Raph kicks him again. And he's like, "Oh, no, like, that's annoying, right?"
Right.
And it turns out that Dr. Queese is watching this through his little camera the whole time, like the little BattleBot's back. And that's how he's seeing all this happen. You know what I mean? He's like seeing them. Ghost bar. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Ghost bar with them. Like, what is ghost barring? You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Ghost bar. Like go to a haunted bar.
A haunted bar. That's what it sounds like. A ghost bar. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess they just.
Sorry,
I guess they drink spirits there.
Oh, got him.
I had to let it go.
I saw a meme that said somebody was like, "I got way too many kinks to be in a haunted house." And then the first comment was like, a hand comes out of the dark and grabs you by the throat and you moan. I'm like that's
yeah, that's so good.
Like you almost want to like make like a short or a movie about like a bunch of like really like sadomasochistic people who go to a haunted house and like everything is awesome.
Right.
Like they're having a great time.
Yeah. Just enjoying it. That's fantastic.
That reminds me, because of a character it's like that. I finally beat Fire Emblem Engage.
Oh, did you? What'd you think?
I did that. Yep. I'll be honest, really just to pause, I guess. The game and the story is not as like as Blood of My Blood as Three Houses. Three Houses is like a perfect game in my opinion.
Right.
But I thought the ending of it actually like pulled my heartstrings more than Three Houses.
Yeah.
Like there was something about like and did you play the Fell Paralog that you find in the well? Like there's a whole side thing where the dragon the dragon child or whatever, where you go to this alternate reality kingdom and you see like all the versions of them in like a different reality and stuff. Did you play those? It's like a 6 mission
I think I did.
Side thing.
I think I did.
Yeah. That also helped really, really build it up. And then I found the end, I was kind of like more like moved by the ending than I was. But you'll never beat the narration in Three Houses. Like the chapter openings. It feels like it's really like
yeah.
But I did like Engage.
That's awesome.
And I'm glad I beat it finally.
I'm just wanting the next one. I'm just ready for it.
I want the next one so bad.
Yeah, I'm like, bring it on.
Because I replayed Three Houses.
Yeah, you were telling
into
me.
Engage.
Yeah.
And now, honestly, I want to go back and play the other ones.
Oh,
like I kind of want to go on like the hero's journey. Go back to like the first one and stuff.
Yeah, we might have to have a conversation about this because
we might need to talk about that. About like because you know more about like emulation and stuff than I do. And maybe August can help us too because he knows a lot about it. About the modern way they do it.
Right.
But like because that's the thing about Fire Emblem Engage is all the rings are past heroes from the whole franchise.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm kind of going, man, like that makes me kind of want to like go back and like play as Marth and those other guys.
Yeah. No, I'm right there with you. We'll have
just to be relatable real fast. We're talking about a game called Fire Emblem, which is currently available on Switch.
Yep.
There's 2 games on Switch. It's a turn-based tactical RPG. It is really good. It is super anime. So if you're not into anime, but I'll be honest, I'm not really that into anime. Three Houses is a great game.
So it scratches that itch
for either side of it.
Right.
Yeah. You have romance options in both games. They're not like Mass Effect romance options, but you do get to spend your life with one of the characters that you
Right.
meet, which is I thought was really well done in both games.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And really well timed. The story's great. And it's really cool. And the characters they have are awesome. So if you're into that and you have a Switch, we can't recommend Fire Emblem Three Houses especially more.
Oh, especially yes.
As a game. The replay value is awesome too, because there's 3 schools of students and you can like become the headmaster of each one.
Mm-hmm.
So you could play it 3 times and literally said I didn't play the same game twice.
Exactly.
Which is like sick.
Yeah.
And Engage is really good too. At the end, it's just a little bit of a step down as far as the story goes, but I still think it was a good game.
It's a lot of fan service in the sense of like for people, not like the skin beef, whatever they call that stuff.
Yeah,
more just like fan service as far as like if you've been playing these games for years, here's a lot of references and things like that. So it's more for people like that people who've played these games.
Well, I got blown out because they have the bracelet for the 3 students from 3 houses. That come back as emblems.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought that was it. But then you find the emblem ring for Byleth, like your character in Fire Emblem, and I'm in 3 houses, and I'm like, oh man,
yeah.
And it was just so good. It's so good. I love that series. I want the next one so bad. I will. Yeah. It's my whole life when I play it. Anyway.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, it's really good. So let's see. So after this altercation with Raph, Raph just like walks away.
Yeah.
Now Raph never speaks.
Mm-mm.
Raph does not ambulate with sounds that sound like he goes clang.
Yeah,
it's very important.
It's true.
He just walks, right? But he didn't say anything. So you're like, okay, we know about clones, so we assume this is a clone. But Donnie, nah, son.
No, not son.
So when Donnie goes back to the lair, he finds the whole family chilling. First of all, playing with the biggest set of cards I've ever seen. Those are like tarot playing cards.
They are. They're so big. Where'd they get those?
I get it because because I'm sure in a latex suit, like manipulating real cards in a hand would be like obnoxious.
Oh, has to be.
And you drop them and it would suck.
Yeah.
But the cards are like, I can't even describe. They're like the size of like envelopes. Like each one, it's like ridiculous.
Yes.
So they're playing Venus and Raph are playing Go Fish. Leo walks in, literally flossing. You're talking about oral hygiene.
Oh,
you know
I forgot about this. Yes.
Always keep his teeth clean, bro. And he's, running that plan. And Splinter and Mikey are watching a nature show about turtles. So everyone's just doing their thing. Donnie rolls up like, I got problems, son. He starts jumping Raph's ass about beating him up in the sewer. I mean, like, he's like strangling Raph.
Yes.
I've got to give Raph credit. He controls himself in this scene incredibly well.
He does.
Because I imagine if you roll up on Raph and you throttle him and pull him up off the couch, you're going to get the size. Like,
you would think.
Like, that's going to happen to you instantly. But Raph is just like, dude, what the hell are you talking about? And Donnie's like, dude, you beat my ass in the sewer. Like, what do you think? And everyone's really confused. And it really kind of comes down to everyone supports Raph's alibi. Like, everyone's like, bro, he was here like the whole time.
Yeah.
If you said this happened 5 minutes ago, like Raph was here 5 minutes ago.
Right.
And this gets Donnie a little turnt because he's like,
he's super turnt.
What? And he storms away. And Splinter does say something about like Raph, like Donnie thinks this is real.
Yeah.
Like, so we need to like, it's weird, but like Donnie thinks he's telling the truth. So we need to pay attention to it.
Yeah. At least give it some credence. Whatever.
Like he's not crazy. You know what I mean? Which I think is better. That's more credit than Mikey ever gets.
Oh, absolutely.
Mikey walks in and says, "I saw a gorilla dressed in a suit, and he's got a Tommy gun."
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "Mikey, you're crazy."
Yeah, no.
Donnie comes in and says, "A clone of Raph beat me up in the sewer. I swear to God." And Splinter's like, "That sounds impossible, but I mean, it is Donnie, so we ought to listen up, and really think about that."
It's true.
You know what I mean? Mikey had to walk away. Like, are you kidding me?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, what? So we go to Dr. Kreese's lab.
Yes.
And he's watching a replay of the Raph and Dawn fight it's on pay-per-view. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And yeah, and also letting Dragon Lord see it.
Yeah,
right?
like they're sharing
and he
a
see it, and
like
Dragon
they're
Lord's all
both
about it.
watching.
Like Dragon
it.
Lord's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah. Yeah, it's like simulcast. It's
Mm-hmm.
like he's next level. You know what I'm saying? He's streaming a video to Dragon Lord and like watching it with him.
Right.
And it's like 1998. I'm like, dude, that's sick. So basically Dragon Lord's like, that's awesome. When do I get all my clowns? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And Dr. Queese is like, sorry, in the notes you call him DQ. It's
Oh,
like you
yeah.
want to say Dairy Queen.
Oh, Dairy
like
Queen, yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
So Dr. Queese is like, well, I got Don's DNA from the sweat because when Raph kicked him, he got some of Donnie's sweat on him.
Mhm.
So I can do Don, but I have to still find a way to get the other turtles. And once again, like the Dragon Lord goes from being very happy to being like threatening again. And I'm like, dude, like this guy just cloned a turtle. Like,
yeah.
this is what you've been going after, bro.
Right.
Like he just did it, and he's like, bro, I just need time to get more DNA, and I've already gotten 2 of the 5.
Yeah.
And he's like,
and he's done this.
Well, call me when you have an update. I'm like, bro.
Right. And he's done this in 30 minutes. Not even 30 minutes. Like this has been like maybe 15 minutes. He's retrieved the DNA, made the clone, and then sent the clone out on a mission that was successful.
He deployed it. It was successful, and he got more DNA.
Yes.
Off that one.
Yes.
It's like it's only a matter of time.
Right.
I do like, if you're watching on YouTube, I do like the around the Dragon Lord's little viewport.
Yeah.
It says a secure home is a happy home. And I think that's hilarious.
Yeah. Like,
we've never seen that before. We never seen the Lord really have like a screen that he looks at or whatever.
Right.
And it's funny to see like that. I don't know why. It's just hilarious.
Oh, it's great.
So back in the turtle lair, Raph, Splinter, and Venus are still kind of talking about like what Donnie said. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't make any sense. And Splinter's still kind of saying, guys, like, I mean, well, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's when the battle bot rickety rolls in to the lair, sounding like it looks.
Yes.
It sounds like a tracked battle bot.
Yes.
Rolling and they're just talking about Donnie.
Yes.
And he grabs Leo's floss, which is basically twine.
Yes.
Off the ground. And grabs that and he's like, thank you very much. And it's like okay.
I loved it so much because I did not think that thread, pardon the pun, was going to go anywhere. I thought that Leo was just saying a ninja has to keep his teeth clean just to be funny. They were just going to throw that away. Literally, this is disgusting.
They set it up.
They set it up. But Leo just leaves this on the ground. Now, granted, they live in a sewer. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get it.
There's probably a lot of broken window syndrome that happens in the sewer. You're like, there's a dead rat here. I'm going to throw this Coke can on the ground. I don't give a shit.
Right.
There's probably a lot of that happens.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, because if they start cleaning it up in any capacity, they gotta have. There's probably some cognitive dissonance there. That is like
there is a lot of cognitive dissonance.
Because if there's a rat problem, they gotta set rat traps and then worry about their dad. So you gotta. I get
you don't
it.
want to be walking around the sewer and from another room you're like, son of a bitch. because he got snapped by one.
Because he got snapped. What I mean? Or he's like stuck in it. And you're like, why aren't you?
Yeah.
He can't get. Oh, jeez.
And then it's even more obnoxious because he has to go Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, Raphael.
Right, from the other room.
De Milo. There's like another name. You're like, okay, God, we've been here for 5 minutes. Like,
that's so good.
Yeah, so you don't, especially with a fifth turtle, you don't want Splinter to have to do a roll call.
No, you do not.
That's just too much.
You
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what's interesting though is that they do mention that Donnie has bruises, which I thought was kind of a cool point.
True.
It's a little, they're getting a little forensic where like what Venus says, like Donnie's hurt though, like his bruises aren't a dream, which that just felt very like Friday the 13th to me. And I was like, oh yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like you get hurt in your dreams, but you're hurt in real life. Fuck yeah. That's like one of my horror movie kinks. I'm like, that's hot. Moans. So back in the sewer, Don is like on his own, like we're retracing his steps with the eye in the sky. He's like, no, Like they think I'm a liar. And Leo and Mike are there, and they're kind of like, yeah, like show us anything, show like what happened, like what's going on. And this one felt a little shoehorned in, but Mikey's got like something going on with his nose, and Leo gives him a handkerchief.
Yes.
He blows the most obnoxious nose blow ever, more obnoxious than even me. And I sound like an elephant when I blow a nose.
It's pretty bad.
And also, there's a fart sound effect, and I'm like,
yeah, why?
What? Like you got it coming out of both fins, like Mikey, dude. Like chill out with that gross shit. And I have to give. This is where we need to pour one out for Eric, because Eric does not like potty humor, and this show is increasingly just full of like fart sound effects. Like all the time.
It is.
Like in the next episode, Wick takes up residence in a toilet.
Yeah, that was rough.
And Eric has to watch, review, and smile.
Yep.
Gladly the whole time for you.
Oh yeah.
Guys. So just realize what he's up to. You know what I mean? Realize what sacrifices he's making.
I appreciate that. You know, I think the thing that saves it for me is that there's the sound guys for this, or the sound whoever's doing it, they were basically hitting every button on that keyboard constantly.
That's true.
So I get it. It's
they're like goat sounds for no reason.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so so it kind of nulls the pain for me, but or nullifies it or whatever. I can't talk. So but I appreciate you noticing that, and thank you very much.
Look, it's all good. So he uses this thing, and then he tries to give it back to Raph, or to Leo. And Leo goes like, dude, nasty, and throws it on the ground again, because they live in a sewer. They live in an open sewer, and he's like, this is dead to me. And leaves it on the sewer. So, of course, the BattleBot grabs that one. You know what I'm saying? So now he's got all 4 turtles. You know what I'm saying? He's like, got him, and like runs off once again. It sounds like a BattleBot, and they don't ever hear it. But they're not very ninja in this show. They talk a lot, they fart, they drive loud motor vehicles, you know. So, you know, maybe they're forgiven for this.
Sure.
So we go back to Dr. Queez, and he just like has this celebration, like, all right, we got saliva, we got snot. He's like all about it. You know what I mean? And it's just funny. Now in the sewer, all the turtles show up, and Don's like still explaining everything he did before the attack, like retracing his steps. When all of a sudden, like, they see the robot come back.
Yeah.
And Venus comes, and like she's all about it. It's cute. And Mikey's got to be like, get the hell away from that thing. What is going on? Everybody's like, Venus.
Right. What are you doing?
She touches the eyeball.
Yeah.
She like wipes the eyeball off.
Yeah.
That gets her DNA on the eyeball. So now, you know, through no effort of his own, he's got all 5 turtles now.
Yep.
And Raph, of all people, no, it was Donnie, thinks that it's no, it was Raph. Correctly surmises that this is Dr. Queez's work.
Yes.
The only bonehead I know how to build a machine like that is Dr. Queez. And I'm like, well, that's real specific. Like, so yeah. So the robot comes back with the DNA samples to Dr. Queez's lab. He throws in his analyzer. And then he still needs Venus, but he realizes that Venus touched the eyeball.
Right.
So he swabs the eyeball and gets the sample. Now he's got it all. So in the sewer, like, the turtles now, with only seeing the BattleBot, which they let escape, by the way, which I'm like, don't do that.
Right. Like they let it go. And then the next thing we see is that they're getting in the Jeep.
Yeah.
And it's like
they're getting armed and like deploying.
Right.
To Dr. Queez's lab in the Dragon Lair.
Right. But they don't know where Dr. Queez's lab is. They have no idea.
No. They have reason to assume that it's still in Dragon Lord's Hammer Castle. Because that's where he set up shop the first time that he messed with them.
Oh,
when he abducted them.
You're right.
He had a lab in the lair. So they assume. Now you're right in the fact that like Dr. Queez may well have escaped and moved shit and moved warehouse. Like he may have moved shop anywhere in the city.
Yeah.
But I guess the Dragon Lord's castle is probably not the worst place to start looking.
Right. I think what crossed me up
still.
I think what crossed me
Right.
up
I
is
think
that
you have a good point. Like
is that I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think that Dr. Queese was captured first, and then we see him in his own laboratory still being captured. And I think he gets out of that at some point. And I think that somehow that caused a disconnect for me. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. Well, and also he's talking to the Dragon Lord over the phone.
Yeah.
Which makes you think that he's not there, maybe.
Ooh, yeah, that's true too.
You know what I mean? So I think all those things contributed to like, well, how do you know where Queese is?
Right.
You're not tracking him.
Yeah.
Like it would make perfect sense if Donnie just like tagged the BattleBot and then followed it with Eye in the Sky back to where it went home.
Right.
He's still at the Dragon Lair, but they don't really like talk about that. They just get all certified and love being a turtle, and they just haul ass.
Right.
Next stop, Dr. Quizzes.
That's
so they get to the lab and they know it's on the 3rd floor because I guess that's where it was last time. So in the rank kind of hangout area, which I guess they stopped like sleeping just in the hallways of the Dragon Lair.
Oh, that's
like,
right.
Remember that time they infiltrated it?
Yeah.
And the rank were just laying on like walkways sleeping. And like it was just like, what is this?
Yeah.
I guess they got some like formalized barracks because they have no problem walking amongst like the different hallways to get to Dr. Queese's lab.
Right.
But Leo spots a clone Donnie. And this is where it starts to fall apart for me. So he sees a clone Donnie and thinks it's Donnie. Then Donnie walks up and says, "Bro, how hot is that turtle right now?"
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, "What?" And he's like, "What? What?" And then there's 2 Donnies. So now music. Jesus Christ. I put that on a shirt. Music. That's how I feel like we are whenever we make music. That's
absolutely.
the exact image I see.
Yep.
So music. Us laughing and barely making music is basically what. And that's when we get heavy.
And that's how that's how we do podcasts too. Just laughing and podcast.
Yeah, no, we're just laughing, and it's called a podcast. So there now involves a fight in this point between the 2 Donnies, and this is where it falls apart because they're fighting, and Leo says which one's the real Donnie. They both perk up, looking the same way, and say me,
right,
which is more than we've seen out of a clone before. Now, I would understand if they were advanced more or something like that.
Yeah.
But the whole thing about the clones is that they're just like kind of like thoughtless automatons, but they just have the power and size and maybe skills of a turtle because they can fight.
Right.
But when this one goes, I am, I'm like, well, that breaks it for me a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So Leo decides to ask Donnie a question, just because the real Donnie would know this. Now,
right.
This is a little funny because if you think about it, if he perfectly now cloned Donnie, that clone Donnie would have the same memories.
Right. If he
can speak like Donnie.
Yes, and he has all the bandana and like all the the belt,
if he has all the fighting, if he has
else.
the fighting skills, he fights like Donnie fights. He wields a bow like Donnie wields a bow.
Right.
Then, ergo, he would have Donnie's memories too.
Yeah.
But real Donnie knows that he ate an odor eater from one of Splinter's slippers.
Yes.
Pizza. That gets where we know who it is. So that's when they actually figure out that Dr. Queese is making clones. And then we see the cloned turtles show up now.
Yes.
And this also confused me because now they sound like robots when they walk.
Right.
Like they and they look once again like automatons. They don't register Donnie's approach when he decides to infiltrate in with them.
Right.
They don't notice anything really. But because they took out the fake Donnie assumes the place of Donnie in this group of 5 clones.
Yes.
And starts walking like them, but they walk with their mouths open, their eyes half hooded. Like they're not intelligent. So why did the other Donnie say it's me and talk like Donnie when these dudes, if they were real clones of the Turtles, would see Donatello approach and would either be like, oh, they basically go friend or foe.
Right.
And they probably go friend, but they start talking to him at least.
Yeah.
Like, because they're clones. Like,
right.
And it's weird because later on we're going to learn that they have a little device in the back of their head that like lets him control them.
Mm-hmm.
But like, so did the other Donnie.
Yeah.
So it's not like if they're shackled by the device in the back of their head where they become automatons then, but if it's not there, they become like normal.
Right.
Because we learn later that when you remove one, they drop like a sack of potatoes.
Right.
Like they're done.
Piece of toast.
Like yeah, like it's almost like it's like without control, they're nothing.
Yeah.
It's at this point in the episode, I'm kind of like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's weird. So Donnie joins in. So they all march to Dr. Queese's lab, and he's talking to the Dragon Lord again. And Dragon Lord's like, when do I get my army? He's like, dude, I just got the first 5 done. Like, give me a minute, dude. And he starts injecting all the clones with this like chemical that makes them like mad, like angry and like strong because he's ready to go fight the turtles. And he's injecting them all, and Donnie's at the end of the line. So Donnie's like, I ain't taking that medicine. You know, I ain't taking that old dirty insulin. Like, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I know if you got it, I got it. But I'm not looking for that.
Right.
And that's when Dr. Queese notices that Donnie doesn't even have the little device on the back of his neck that would allow him to inject that stuff.
Right.
He's like, where does your cortical implant go? And Donnie's like, peekaboo, you're dead. And they start fighting. So then all the other turtles ambush and they all fight.
Yes.
Like, at this point, I was like, so they must just have like spare turtle suits then.
Yeah, they have to, right? Because like that's what
they have doubles for the turtles.
Yeah, and I guess they had to I guess that's just what a lot of these kind of tokusatsu live action stuff. They have spares, but because I guess if you get one made, you might as well get 2 or 3
Yeah,
more.
if you're making them up and they're all like foam molded, so you have the molds for them and stuff. And I guess like you could be filming a scene and then some of the latex splits wide open and you're like, oh shit, like we need a new suit. Right. But it was kind of weird to see like 10 turtles.
Yeah.
9, because Donnie, they disposed of the other Donnie.
Right.
So there's 9 turtles fighting, and I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah. It's a little surreal.
So yeah, they fight and the real TMNT win, and this is by removing the implants. That's the key. If they didn't have the implants to be removed, then this fight could have gone on all day, honestly. Because we saw that when Donnie fought himself, it was like 100 years because they're basically perfectly matched. So they remove those things, and when they remove them, they fall flat, like dead, like they're deactivated.
Right.
However, these guys don't say clang. These are flesh and blood genetic clones of the turtles.
Yeah.
Who we assume have personalities and can answer questions under certain circumstances,
right?
Skills, and they're also turtles.
Yeah,
but not to Dr. Queese.
No,
because the minute those turtles are deactivated, he's like, I'm gonna press a button and they're gonna die. And I did like this a little bit because Donnie stands up to Dr. Queese again. This was a plot line from their first thing where Donnie was taken in by Dr. Queese's genius and then realized that Dr. Queese is basically Joseph Mengele and he's terrible. And he does say, like, you don't do science, you do evil. Because I said Dr. Mengele, because that's basically what he is.
Right.
Because Dr. Queese says, like, dude, don't destroy my data, because if not for me, for science. Like, I successfully cloned you.
Right.
Like, don't do it. And he's like, you're crackpot science. I'm going to destroy it. Like, it's terrible. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is for the millions, basically.
Right.
It makes me so mad that Dr. Mengele, like, escaped to Argentina and just lived his full life.
Yeah.
Like I listened to a video the other day on that, and it was like this channel that talks about these famous people in history, and they went down the line of all the big Nazis and what happened to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, just all the names, Himmler, all the names, Goebbels, all that stuff. And it was going down and down and down. And one that made me the most mad was freaking Mengele.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're not allowed to die at like 70 when you have a stroke running on the beach. That's stupid.
That's stupid.
You piece of shit. But anyway, you heard that weird theory there's towns near where Mengele lived, and he was always like fascinated with twins. Like during the
Right.
war, he tortured and like experimented on twins.
Mm-hmm.
There's cities near him that have like double the rate of twin births among their population. Yes.
Oh no, jeez, that's
And,
freaky.
and scientists have kind of said like they've looked at it and they go, well, like there's some reasons maybe because it is genetic and like this is because they live kind of near the Andes. Just they're isolated towns.
Right.
That the odds are that like they marry inside the town and that so it just keeps bringing up the twins.
Yeah.
But there's like other scientists that are like, yeah, but
also exactly. Yeah. No, that's too
like
much.
that's creepy, dude. That's creepy.
That is creepy.
Anyway,
do you think that all the Nazis probably got away the same way that Dr. Queese does?
Oh, I want to talk about that because
Okay.
that literally could be the name of the episode.
Okay.
Because
Good.
it's so good. So yeah, so Donnie like makes a stand, you know what I mean, against this awful science. And yeah, Queese presses a remote control and they all are nanocarbonized or whatever shit is, and they die. They completely die.
Yeah.
And it is horrible. And Don says like this is like a goddamn war crime. Basically,
Yeah.
this is like a crime against humanity.
Yeah.
And Dr. Queese is like, well, kids, it's been real. Then he goes, rocket shoes.
Yes.
And
Just rocket shoes.
And that's them.
That's them right there.
And I saw that and I was like, literally, that's the best way to leave any situation ever, I think.
Oh, yeah. Rocket shoes.
That's
always.
better than like, all right, I'm going to head out.
Yeah.
And
No,
then pulling
and
the
then
head
just
out. That's literally better than that.
Better.
Saying rocket shoes
Mhm.
and just like getting out, like that's sick.
Yeah. Genius.
And he says, I love being a genius. Just like the turtles say, I love being a turtle, which
Right.
is also good. And I hope that he was mocking them.
I do too.
So let's see. So he gets out and Don does destroy the cloning machine, so
Right.
that happens.
Yeah.
Then we see the turtles like, driving back home and the sun coming up, and they say something about if you mess with the green, it gets mean, except no imitations. They are not at all bothered anymore by the 5 souls that Dr. Queese created in their image that were cruelly disconnected from life and then atomized.
Right.
Yeah. And then everybody laughs and there's a fart noise and then it ends.
Yeah.
And that's the episode.
And that's the episode. So like, I guess the turtles don't have that thing where if you and I saw clones of ourselves, we would probably freak out. But the turtles look so much alike, I guess, that like, and they're surrounded by each other constantly that maybe, and with enough weird stuff that happens to them as it is,
Yeah.
maybe that like connection just didn't really work the way that you would think it would. But I don't know. So there's that. That's my first thing. Second thing is that I don't think they maybe they did it. They did establish that it's the 3rd floor of this building, so they probably know that it's in the Dragon Lord's area. But nevertheless, I think did they just leave the turtle bodies there? Like those were just bodies that, or did they disintegrate?
No. They got destroyed. They each had a like self-destruct implanted in them that like carbonized their bodies, which means it effectively vaporized them.
That's right. Okay.
And he does. He wants to, and Donnie says, it's like, when you press the button, Donnie's like, stop.
Yeah.
They're like real. And he's like, once I press the button, it can't go, hey, you can't stop it. And then they brimp into nothing.
Right. Yeah.
But they don't say clang.
They don't. And
they're flesh and blood.
That's just like seeing yourself die has got to do something to you. But certified, whatever it is, just.
I think you can bury a lot of trauma and a lot of stuff with just saying certified a lot.
I think so. It's weird. It's kind of like probably whoever first came up with que sera, sera, like it was the same thing. Whatever would be, whatever. And then it evolves to, or devolves.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why that ancient dude came up with que sera, sera.
Yeah. It's just
like
whatever.
He like walked out of his like little hut and like there was a clone of him.
Yeah.
And he just like killed him. and I
Right.
buried him. And he's like, "Que sera, sera."
Que
I just
sera,
went
sera.
about his life like
Right, and just-
I got to figure this one out. You know what I mean?
And see, here's the thing, and this has got layers to it. So follow me, baby birds.
Okay, I'm with you.
So
Yep.
and that que sera, sera, whatever. Well, then it just gets so ubiquitous everywhere that it starts to change and become queso, and then you think about it. If you kill your own clone or really anyone, and someone presents queso to you, you immediately forget about all your problems. Queso.
That's
queso,
true.
Queso rah rah rah. And it's just gone. And so there you go. That's how that works. That's the power of cheese. And
It's a little bit like the Seinfeld episode, like Serenity Now.
yes,
Basically is what
absolutely.
it is.
Yes.
It's like Serenity now,
Right.
insanity later. You
Yes.
know what I mean? Like,
and I hope we
so
see
good.
the other side of that with these turtles, because
man.
I'd like to see some payoff. And this show has shown us that that stuff happens, that they bring it back a lot of times. So
yeah.
Well,
No.
you ready to get into King Wick?
King Wick.
Yeah, because
This is a fun one.
This is a fun one. So
The other one had me in my head a little bit. The other one had me a little bit like, man, like yeah, but like, why do they sound like they say clang? And then but then when Donnie or Raph was there, he didn't say clang. And then the Donnie can talk, but then when you disconnect the cortical implant, like they fall down.
Yeah.
And like, why? Yeah, it just got me. Like I was kind of like, there's too many little problems, and I'm like, that's annoying.
It is
annoying. You know what I
annoying.
mean? Because you could have fixed it.
Yes.
Like it's not hard.
It's
That's why it sounds like a fever dream. And then they were like, we're gonna make it right into an episode.
Right. Exactly. And so I don't know. I still thought it was fun, and I enjoyed Dr. Queese a lot.
Yeah.
I loved him.
I was
and the Dragon Lords, Your Majesties. Their back and forth was great.
Your Majesty.
And
yes.
but every once in a while, like a nice little quaint episode that's just kind of haphazardly thrown together. Sure.
And who can forget about Rocket Shoes?
Who can forget about Rocket Shoes? I mean, it's just great. So, yeah.
I'm biased to this. So I can get away from shit.
Right. Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sorry.
Can you imagine if people that had like jobs that were like super like intense, like they had their rocket shoes on, just if it got too weird?
Oh yeah. Just
so you're like, whatever. You're like the police officer has to tell like someone's family that someone died.
Yeah.
So you walk up those steps to that house with that hat. You take that hat off, and you see it in their eyes, like they know. So they start crying, and you're like, "We regret to inform you that your husband is dead." And you're like, "Rocket shoes."
Right. And
you know what I mean? Because it gets too weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
like,
then they're impressed with the rocket shoes.
Like, whoa.
Right.
And you leave behind a bowl of queso.
That's how you do it. Yeah.
Like queso rocket shoes.
Right.
Oh, and the rocket shoes exhaust heats up the queso.
Thank you.
So then it's hot, and they're like, "Whoa, dude, queso!" And they're like, "Queso, rah rah rah." Queso. I can't say it. Queso, rah, sirrah.
Queso, rah,
queso, sirrah. Queso. Yeah.
Queso, rah rah rah.
Because you're taking the S. Queso, rah rah rah.
That's it. Queso, rah rah rah.
That we fixed it. We got it.
We got it. We
queso,
solved it.
Rah rah rah. But yeah, these rocket shoes.
Rocket shoes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're like at a show, and like there's that dude you've been talking to for a little bit, but then it gets annoying, and you're like, I really wish I could walk away, but like I just met this guy, but he's like telling me all about his apartment, and I'm like hearing about that, and he's like, well, and also like the other day I did acid, and you're like, oh, that's really cool, man. Rocket shoes.
Well, the good thing about it is you could pretend that like you accidentally hit your rocket shoes button.
Oh,
like, yeah.
True.
Sorry, my phone. Oh shit, rocket shoes.
Oh, if you put a question mark, you're like, rocket shoes?
Yeah,
and you fly away because like you're like, oh, I didn't know that was gonna happen.
Yeah, you're absolved of all social obligations at that point. Yeah, no, it's perfect. It's a little
bit. It's also got that effect because nobody has rocket shoes. It's got that effect of like that thing from Arrested Development where he's like, I'll turn this $100 bill into 99 pennies.
Yeah,
where it's literally like he got $100 and gave him 99. I mentioned this so many times, but that's like the height of comedy to me.
Yeah,
like that's like so goddamn funny on a lot of levels. The biggest one is that he's ripping you off.
Right.
And the best part is it's always these rich people and they love it.
Yeah.
They go after all the pennies and he just gets away with a $100 bill.
Oh yeah.
That's basically what that is. In any situation. You're like, rocket shoes?
Yeah. you love money related humor because the other and that's up there on top, like up higher echelon of your
Oh.
comedy joke like appreciation. Because the other one is, well, why not $1 million?
Okay.
Remember that one? Like,
Oh, what
yeah.
if it was $1 million?
What if it was $1 million?
That is like
That's
one of
it.
my
Yeah,
favorite things.
yeah.
Well, what if it was $1 million applies to life too? I mean, like that's literally like that is someone who doesn't understand like humor or the process at all.
Right.
You know, but like, yeah, no, you're right. No, a lot of it is money based. That's weird.
I love it. I'm here for it. So you know what else I'm here for, Ryan? I'm here for this next episode, King Wick.
Ooh.
So
King Wick?
yeah, so we're back with the Ninja Turtles next mutation episode. I think it's
King
18.
Wick.
King Wick. I guess based on the title, you can surmise what the what's gonna happen. But yeah, we open up on the Dragon Lord's magical castle, and he's in here, and he has a magical headache. That he's looking for a magical remedy from Wick to be making, which I love this. Wick is like just concocting this thing, and he's doing it from memory apparently. And he's just like shoveling all this weird stuff like into it, and it's great. And he's just like being really annoying because his head hurts. And what he doesn't realize is that it's probably because I don't know how gravity works and how just different things work in the
I don't know how gravity works.
In the
Eric Crosby.
Thank you. Yes. In the astral plane, because the Dragon Lord's probably having a tension headache because his ponytail is so tight.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so that could have
greasy, nasty hair. Yes, probably.
Yeah, totally could have fixed it. But he's saying that his skull is throbbing head to toe. So or he calls him a toe. I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, so he's just going on and on about Wick, get this thing done. Yeah. And so Wick forgets the instructions on how to do it. And he totally does not feel appreciated by the way that the Dragon Lord is just berating him. And so so he is just like trying to, do it by memory, and at this point just really doesn't care. He's like, I'm just going to throw a bunch of stuff in and see what happens.
Yeah.
So he makes this concoction, and he wants Wick to drink it first. He's like, no, you're going to drink it first. And he shoves it down Wick's mouth. And
that's fair.
Yeah. And
that was like one of the smartest things Dragon Lord's ever done.
Oh, yeah. No. And that should be common practice. Wick should have known that was going to happen. Yeah. So this happens, and Wick freaks out and then snaps back to reality and has a deeper Australian voice that sounds like Wolverine from Pride of the X-Men. And
snap back to reality. I don't know gravity.
Yeah. And so now he's like just this Australian badass.
He does. He sounds like Wolverine from Pride of the X-Men.
He totally does.
Like, who you calling a boob?
Yeah. And he's like, Dragon Lord's like, what's wrong with your voice? I'm sick.
I don't know what's going on.
Right. And so Wick just blast him with some eye lightning, which is wild. Kind of like, did Emperor Palpatine do that, or was that with his hand, right? Not his eyes.
That was his hand. Yeah, but no, that looks like Force lightning. Totally. Yeah,
it does. And so so yeah, they have a little back and forth, and Wick realizes that things done changed. Shu is on the other side now, and immediately stops calling the Dragon Lord
his power.
Yeah, he takes his powers and stops calling the Dragon Lord Master.
He tries to power up.
Yeah,
yeah,
and calls him slave. And so now
straight up, and Dragon Lord's like, "Oh, you want to talk shit?" Like Dragon Lord power, and he can't activate it. He's like, my powers?
Yeah.
And King Wick's like, psh, slave.
Yeah.
He's like, oh.
And so so now
Shu is on the other side.
Shu's on the other side. Script has been flipped, and here we go. King Wick is here. So in the turtle lair, Leo is reading a Leading Warriors book where the cover title is How to Crack the Whip. Yeah, once again, here on Turtle Soup, we like to bring out all of the unfortunate pairings with slavery and stuff because, good
Yep.
God, it was everywhere, and still is.
It was.
Yeah, but the fact
Never
that
forget the Confederate cufflink caper. You know what I mean?
never forget that. Goodness gracious. But at first, I thought this was a magazine that he was reading, and that kind of
Same
cracked.
here. I didn't think it was a book. I thought it was a
think
magazine.
And that killed me even more than a book. A book makes a little bit more sense, but a magazine called Leading Warrior, like you get your monthly subscription of Leading Warrior magazine.
So
Yeah, that was killing me. But I absolutely love this about Leonardo, him reading and studying. This is one of my favorite characteristics of Leonardo from this series that I hope and wish that they carry on into other ones. And
and they laid it, and they've laid it in. They've taken their time, and they've really like put it in that Leo like reads resources to learn shit, and I like that.
Yeah, exactly. And he's just he realizes that he needs to crack the whip, and so he is going and telling. He's going and telling the rest of his family, which this is super cute. I love this because he just read this thing. And you got to remember, too, that this is not only his family, this is his team. And so he's like kind of telling them it's kind of a weird juxtaposition of him telling his friends and family, like, hey, like I learned this cool thing, or here's this thing I like a lot. And I think we could learn as a family unit. But also he's telling his work team that it's the same thing. And it's kind of it plays as well as you would imagine that nobody really is digging this at all. Like it's not working. And they're talking about like how Leo's like, he's still reading it at the dinner table, by the way, for those audio listeners. And he's saying that they need a battle cry, and they start like just going around just making fun of him and just not really getting into this. And it's kind of like, oh, like wah. But I'm like, Leo, y'all have a battle cry. Y'all have a ton of battle cries. I don't know why this is important to you now. Like you've already
that's the thing that happens where you realize Leo's on the wrong track, because he says we need a battle cry, and they all go like certified,
right.
And he goes, no, like a real one, like a scream from the gut, man, like a real one. And they're like, what, we have one.
Right, exactly. And yeah, he's totally not like on the same level as them, and it's super weird that he's like this. But it's in character with what we saw with him, like having to brush up on being a hunter with Bone Steel. And so it's interesting. But the Turtles are like not having this at all. So they say that self-help books are lame, and they get up and walk away, leaving him at the table alone. And so, then we cut back to the Dragon Lord's castle apartment, and the Dragon Lord is now carrying Wick on a pillow, and I love this so much.
Wick flipped. You want to know who's cracking the whip?
Yeah.
He flipped the script and cracked that whip. You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
And now the Dragon Lord is like a little bitch, and it's amazing.
It's so good. And this is the dialogue, everything about their dynamics and just Wick in general, excellent. Done fantastically in this episode. And so Wick lets the rank know about the change of power and declares Dragon Lord is now known as Weenie, which is also tracks because when he called Mikey's radio show, he said, and they were trying to make the Turtles think that Wick had betrayed. He called him Wiener Lord. Yeah. So,
okay, no, that does track.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so, no, like Wick's got a thing for like calling him Weenie or
he
Wiener.
Totally does.
Yeah.
And
that's good. That's good.
I'm so happy that that this right here kills me. Just the dejection, just totally just oh god. Yeah. And but I love how accepting that the Dragon Lord is. He's just like he realized.
Yeah, no, he's beaten down.
Yeah,
like, he knows.
Yeah.
And I do like the fact that like the rank, they initially resist. Like one goes like, I will not call my Dragon Lord Weenie.
Right.
And so King Wick just gives them the Palpatine eye magic.
Yeah.
The old Miley Cyrus.
Cyrus.
The other guys go Weenie. Like just straighten him right out.
It's so good.
It's like hilarious.
Yeah, I loved every bit of this. And so yeah, so let's see. Back in the Turtle Lair, Leo is still going on about this warrior book. And
yes.
they rigged a giant spider, which you can see like right here. That is like a piñata, and they have Mikey trying to like, he's blindfolded and he's trying to attack it like a piñata. Leo says that the book says that the only thing the warrior learns from failure is that he's a big loser. And Mikey gets fed up and says that your weapon handling is good enough to take on the rank. And Leo quotes the book, "Good enough is the motto of the wimp." Yeah. And well, he says whip here, but you know.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh dang, that's good.
Well, that book is like how to lead with anger and fear is what that book actually is. Like it's like bad leadership, right?
Yes. And so all the turtles get up and walk away, and Splinter tries to sneak off.
He does.
Yeah.
He tries to go like he's like, oh, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Oh man. Splinter probably wish he had those rocket shoes. Because the minute Leo's like, I'm just trying to be a leader. He's like, this is awkward as fuck. Rocket shoes.
Rocket shoes.
Yeah, I'm out.
That's so good. But he can't shrug his fatherly responsibilities. And so so he says something, what does he say? He says something about progress, and about progress without regard for others' feelings makes them feel undervalued or something to that effect.
Yeah, that's basically what it was. Like you're not being a good leader because you're just spouting leader shit, and you're hurting your people. And
right.
I'm out.
Yeah. So essentially, what Leo should have done is take that book for what it is and read it and apply, like, understand it. And then he needs to filter that and apply it to his friends and family and his, arguably his coworkers, in a way that will apply to them and not let the book apply it to, like, he's the middleman and needs to act as such, as opposed to just being the audible mouthpiece of the book. Yeah. And so I just thought that was
this is Leo's first experience being in middle management is basically what it is.
That's true. Yes.
Like, you've got a team under you, and anyone who's managed people, you'll know what I'm talking about. There's a boss above you that says X needs to change. This is bullshit. This is good. Fix it.
Right.
Then you have people under you, and if you walk to them and say X is good, this is shit, fix it.
Yeah.
That's not being a leader.
No.
That's not being a manager. No. That's being a parrot.
Yes.
And literally, your boss could have done that and walked away, but your employees hate you because they're like, you're an ass, and your job is to insulate them from that asshole.
Right.
That's your point.
Right.
But Leo doesn't know that. Leo, like, to him, that book is like his boss, and he's like, I gotta whip these guys up. And it's like, yeah. And I do like the thread. I'll talk more about it later, but that this episode is well written because, both sides of it deal with leadership problems,
right,
and leadership stuff. And it's kind of interesting to see each go. That's the theme of the episode,
right?
Is like uneven leadership changes, different regimes of leadership. It's all kind of in there.
Yeah. No, you're right. I hadn't thought about it that way, but you're absolutely right. That's exactly what that is. And so back at the Dragon Lord's castle apartment, we see that that King Wick is now on top of the Dragon Lord's throne, and he's complaining about how uncomfortable it is. And
he's straddling that thing like a horse.
He is.
Like, that ain't gonna be comfortable at all.
It's not. And again, for people that have never seen this show and have only listened to Turtle Soup as the voice of this show, Wick is a tiny Muppet for all intents and purposes. So he has someone's hand up this backside of him. And so the show is normally they can get away with, like, having him be a side character. They cut away to him and he's doing something over here, like sitting down, all this and that. But when he's the focus,
and it's always in bust shots. Like, it's always like bust up. Like, you never see his legs rarely.
Right. But when he's the focus and, like, the main character essentially in this story, they have to be creative. And I love this, that they're just having all these different ways to hide the puppeteer. Oh, it's fantastic. So King Wick is demanding a new throne because the other one is uncomfortable. So
Yeah.
Weenie tells the rank to bring in the new throne, that's here. Well, turns out it's a cannon that they light
Yep.
the fuse and point it
Yep.
at King Wick.
Yep, that's a coup attempt right there. But that is.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, that is definitely 100% like just here you go, here's your new throne. Like that's
yeah, this is a junta, right?
Right.
We're gonna get you.
So and they pointed at him. King Wick's eyes light up and fire a disc that turns the cannon around and blasts the rank. And just there you go. Point blank range. Then he commands Weenie to show him his throne. Like it's okay.
Give me my real throne.
Give me my real throne. So then he does, and it's just right to the right of him. Like it's just right there. And it's literally a toilet, like the whole toilet still attached to the floor and the wall, probably from somewhere like in another
actual
building.
bathroom.
Yeah, in an actual bathroom.
And he ripped it out. He ripped the whole thing with the wall and everything.
Right. And it's just there. And that's his, and it's very bizarre. King Wick loves it and immediately has somehow found a way to get in through the pipes and in through the whole thing and coming out of the toilet. Just head up. Just yeah. And
toilet.
He's just, oh my goodness. He just feels flushed. Yeah. So it's funny and I get it. It's just super weird. But I guess
I love it that it's too weird, but I love that the Dragon Lord is like, oh, this is the ultimate insult. Like, oh, you want the throne? I'll give you the throne.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's like, you want a new throne? Well, they call this the throne.
Right.
Here's your fucking toilet. And I love it because King Wick's like, well, I'll try it out. Oh, this is actually sick because it's actually perfectly sized for me.
Right.
I can sit in this water, which I really like.
Yeah.
And I'll attach a little bell to the flusher.
That's right.
And I'll use that to ring you, slave.
I forget.
And Dragon Lord's like, God damn it. You know what I mean? Like but he loves it.
I love
that's the best part.
It is the best part. You're absolutely right. I was about to get to the bell part too, and I'm glad you brought it up because it's so good.
Yeah.
I love it when they bring in like when someone thinks they're gonna get you, and then you turn it around on them. You 8 Mile them essentially, and
you do 8 Mile
them, and then not only that, but you find a mechanism for the thing they brought and use it to just like to degrade them even more. Oh my goodness. It's excellent.
That.
Excellent.
It's really good.
So back at the turtle lair, I'm sorry, I skipped one thing. Then King Wick tells Weenie to get the rank and they're going to invade the sewers. In the turtle lair, Dawn is apparently trying to access the Matrix and realizes that the rank are just all of a sudden in the sewers. And then Leo tries to use more of his pushy leadership, but Raph is just, not having it at all. And it just says, just says nah. So they all then take off to stop the rank. That's it. Okay, cool. So
and more importantly here, really fast, Raph takes over command.
Oh yeah.
That's a big part. He goes like, you know what? Enough of that phony horse shit. He's like, let's get armed. Let's go get them. We're going to take these rank out. And everyone's like, yeah. And they all run after him. And Leo's like, oh, right. Which I like.
I do too.
Because it turns out prophetically, you know what I'm saying?
I do.
Raph is in the future would always be the backup leader, the first officer.
Right.
Basically. Or the leader in the case of certain, of Rise. Right.
Yeah.
So like, I do like that Raph would be the secondary leader. So they're clued in. It feels like
and
a little prophetic,
a little bit. And I like that they're showing the turtles like rallying behind Raph instead of Leonardo, which is obviously it's setting it up for a fall. But but I like that it shows it's show. I don't know. I just like the way that they're doing it in this. I think they
handle it well because
really
it's a vacuum of leadership.
Yeah.
Like literally, man, when you have a vacuum of leadership, someone steps in.
And the irony is that Leo is trying to fill that vacuum by he's following the book, and that's that. Yeah, I love. I don't know. I just think this is great.
Yeah, it's awesome. He's got the yips.
Yeah,
like he's screwing up something he naturally does.
Yeah,
and in a vacuum, because basically, they in sports they call it losing the locker room. If you're a coach and say stuff and you keep saying like rah rah boys, come on, whoever your thing is,
Right.
if it stops working, all of a sudden you lose the locker room and all those athletes tune you out.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
it is very hard to get out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's when you typically lose your job.
Right.
Is you lose those players and they'll sit there and listen to you go, now next week we're going to get out here and we're going to woodshed and we're going to beat the hell out of these people, and the players are like whatever, and typically a leader on the team will step up, and that's not what you want because that's the power vacuum, and then all of a sudden no one's listening to the manager, they're listening to this guy.
Right.
And that's
right.
basically exactly what happens here.
Yeah.
Like Raph leads them instead and leaves Leo in the dust. And I think it's really well done.
I do too.
Like, I think it's really well done.
Yeah, I agree. So then in the let's see where we at. We're in the sewers. So in the sewers,
Yeah.
Weenie is carrying King Wick on his pillow, and a rank member is fanning him with a long pink feather broom thing, and it's delightful.
Oh yeah.
King Wick is just loving this. And and so all of a sudden the turtles show up, and Mikey does a game show bit where he tells Venus to tell them what they've won, and she says a shell full. Let's see if I got it here. Tell our lucky contestants what they won. Our lucky contestants have won a shell full of pain and and all expenses paid trip to the hospital. That just killed me.
All expenses paid trip to the hospital. I hope you can roll that money.
Yeah,
that's actually a nice. I think there's some people that would get beat up.
Yeah,
so they have an all expenses paid trip to the hospital.
Right.
So I mean, that's in America.
Oh, like, absolutely. No,
you're really stepping up.
Exactly. That's something that you'd be, just putting in the back pocket if you could. Like, hey, can I save that?
Like, okay, I can take that away. Yeah.
Right. Do I have to do it? Do I have to use it now? Like, do I have to redeem this now, or is there expiration date?
I
like,
heard if you don't use it, you lose it.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah. Then King Wick makes his presence known and starts eye blasting everyone, and fighting happens for a while.
So anyway, I just started blasting.
And yeah, just all kinds of stuff's happening. People are getting like blasted with the Miley Cyrus, and just all kinds of stuff. The turtles get King Wick and throw him back and forth, and just keep throwing him back at Weenie. And then Venus, let's see if I got it. Yeah, Venus hits him with the Miley Cyrus. Just boom, a ball blast of Shinobi. Yeah. And once that happens, the turtles then snook, which I think they meant to say book, but they
it was
But come on, guys, let's snook.
It was another Venus line.
Yeah,
where she got the word wrong.
Yeah,
she meant book. Yeah,
and it's great. And so then we are back in the turtle lair, and everyone's just like reeling from their wounds, which I really appreciate that. Like, I really like that they're.
I like that.
Just having to. It's not just like back to normal. Like, everything's like there's
like everyone's laid up.
Yeah. So and they're trying to figure out how Wick got them powers. They deduce that it's magic or alchemy, and they then Splinter tells Leo to lead them. Like, he just comes in and is just telling them, you got to lead.
He's like, go do the shit that you normally did, and Leo's like, they won't follow, and Splinter's like, go do the stuff that you normally do.
Yeah, just do it. So back at the Dragon Lord's castle apartment, King Wick and let's see, just lost my place. Oh my lord, King Wick and Weenie just recount their battle and talk about doing it again. Like, they just keep talking, and he's still on that throne, and now the throne is adorned with grapes and skulls and all kinds of stuff. It's great, and I think he's got a plunger or something. Yeah, it's
he's got something there. It looks a little weird.
It's pretty wild.
Gruesome.
So they're talking about just going and doing it again. Back in the turtle lair, an alarm goes off, and it alerts Donnie that the rank have flooded the sewers again. And so Leo just says, let's see, where does Leo? I got the picture. Here we go. Leo. So Leo says that they got to lead. They got to lead them away from this sector because they don't want them to find their house. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
So they take off in the Turtle Hummer and raft cycle to the sewers.
Yeah. To go back to the sewers. I start to wonder if they literally weren't like contractually obligated to have them get in those vehicles every episode or something. Seriously, because they just go to another part of the sewer.
Yeah, and the thing is that we didn't see them go in the they didn't get in their vehicles the last time the rank were in the sewers.
And they were outside their door, it felt like. They were like down the hall from their lair.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, so then in the sewers, the turtles finally show up and find the rank have built a weird wall barrier. And it looks a little bit like Turtles 2, like the junkyard kind of deal.
It does.
And it's literally just to hide the puppeteer for Wick. That's all it's there for, and it's amazing. So, Turtles don't have a plan, so they just run in and attack. But somehow King Wick thinks that they are winning, but then comments on how the Turtles are working as a team, but it all looks the same as every other fight. Like I don't understand. It's
like Wick recognizes that Leo. It's like a signal to us that Leo has like fixed his leadership.
Yeah, like there's just something different going on, but it all looks the same to us. So Leo gets hit with an eye blast from King Wick, and then remembers his sword is reflective. Because
I want to point something out really fast.
Okay,
so I thought this was pretty clever. I'm probably giving the show way too much credit. To be 100. At one point, Leo looks in his sword when they're about to leave the lair. He looks in his sword and sees that he sees his reflection. Okay, now he says like, "Yeah, I'm seeing the face of somebody who reads this stupid book," and that's when he throws the book away.
Mm-hmm.
In the lair or in the sewer later when they're fighting, Venus comes up to him and he's looking at his sword and she says something like what are you doing? He's like, "Oh, I'm looking at the face of a loser," or something like that. Again, with the reflection. And that's a tie back to Shredder and all the reflection stuff.
Yes.
I don't know if it was just a way to lay in the fact that his sword is shiny so he can use it later to do a cool thing. But it felt like a motif, and I appreciate that.
Yes. And I love all of that. And then I love that whenever it comes time to use it, he says it's time for a little reflection and just reflects the light, which is, I don't know if that would actually work that way. I don't think it would, but whatever.
He basically Jedi.
Yeah.
I love it because he basically like does the lightsabers deflect laser beams thing that Jedi do.
Right.
Because he gets one off. And he deflects it up like into the ceiling.
Right.
And then he's like, all right. It's almost like when you're batting and you hit a foul ball. You're like, all right, let me get another pitch.
Right.
And he hits a goddamn liner right back to Wick. Like on a rope. Yeah. Yeah. And great.
Yeah. So once he does that, this reverses the power gain and returns King Wick to just regular old Wick. And so Dragon Lord takes his rank and Wick back home to torture him, which I think, return home and torture Wick. Like he literally says that. Like that's what his plan is for that evening. And after he's made that potion again to use on himself because he wants all those powers that Wick had, and which was his powers, which is why like that. But like he wants to I guess make him stronger or whatever. But yeah. So Dragon Lord. Okay, I already said all that. It takes him back home, and then the turtles congratulate Leo with honor. Like they're totally giving him like thumbs up and just
No, they're like, dude, you're back to being you. Like,
yeah, it's nice. I don't know. I liked it. And so then back in the Dragon Lord's castle apartment, Wick is making the potion, but can't remember the recipe. So he so he tries to sample it, but gets stopped by Dragon Lord, and he calls him Tricky Wicky. And
Tricky Wicky.
He's wanting to recreate the whole situation. And that is the episode. So what did you think about this?
Solo's episode was like infinitely better than the Mutant Relations episode because it actually had a theme. Like it was about leadership, and particularly changes in leadership that don't work out. Right. I thought that was really cool. I really love anytime that a TMNT iteration focuses on Leo's leadership.
Yeah.
I thought that was, I mean, I know I've talked the rise of the TMNT movie to a point where it's almost ridiculous, but they really mess with that in that.
They do.
And that's awesome because Raph's the leader in that. But you see Leo emerge in that movie. Right. And it's really, really awesome.
Yes.
So anytime, even the episode of the animated series, the 87 series, where like Leo goes all emo. Remember that? And he's like, I'm not a leader. I ain't shit. Right. He's like wearing a beanie and like joins an emo band and stuff. Like goes to the Midwest and all that
like
crap.
Cold.
Like, yeah, he's like, yeah. I mean, because it's cold in the Midwest, and he's like in your basement, like, all right, here's another one.
And he starts playing Nevermind.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, on the guitar.
Yeah. And he's like, this one's about my ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
Again. And whatever, and he starts like doing that weird thing that emo guitarists Midwest do, where they tap. And you're like, what? He's playing those riffs, and it's great. I always love when they explore Leo's leadership and stuff. So you got me hooked on that one. You already appealed to my logic, as Eric puts it. You know what I'm saying? Like you already got me. I love the comedy other side of just the indulgence that King Wick. Just the indulgence of Wick ordering Dragon Lord around, being Wick, being crazy. I love it. And it had some good little tie-ins, and it was basically about like both sides lose their leader and what happens, and it plays out very different on each side. And I thought it was a really well scripted episode.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really good thought, right? And it had motifs and themes, which I really appreciated. So it's a really well written episode, and it's really good. It's a top tier for me.
I agree. I really enjoyed this episode. It's a trope that I know is in almost every fiction, but like, it was done entertainingly at the very least about it. I was entertained. And I think that it did a really good job building Leonardo's character and the team's dynamic, like you were talking about as well. And I think my favorite thing in the episode was Splinter trying to get away. before he had to like to be a dad. He's like, oh, can I get out of this before but this also brings
rocket shoes.
Rocket shoes. Yeah, just gone. Queso, here's some queso. Turtles like queso.
Yeah. The queso sarah.
Queso rah. But it does bring to
queso rah. That's how you say you
queso rah. Yeah.
Queso rah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. This does bring to light though that Splinter is not really like, he seems like he's playing more of a lazy dad than he does in any of the other iterations.
I agree.
Or
I really thought that if he saw this leadership issue happen, he'd be like, oh, this is in my wheelhouse. Let me tell you about leadership. But he doesn't.
No, he doesn't. And it kind of feels like a little bit, and well, not, you're a parent, so you could probably speak to this a little more than I can, but a little bit of like, I'm going to let him touch the burner, you know?
No, I was just about to say that. I think the other way of interpreting this is that he's like, you want to run around the house and you're going to bust your ass? I'm going to let you do it, bust your ass. And that's the best way you'll learn. You're not going to listen to me say don't do it, right? So, and Splinter's words are thoughtful.
Yes.
He says, like, when Leo says, like, you're on my side, right? And he says, like, I've not read that book.
Yeah.
Like, openly. Right? I've not read that.
Yeah.
And I actually really liked that line because, and I'm not joking, kind of, like, I really liked it because he is, in a weird way, showing the most leadership in that point where he acknowledges Leo's, like, do you know what I mean? Right. He doesn't come out and say, look, that book is shit. Okay. Yeah. Like, that book's dumb. You're dumb for reading it. You should get back to what you were. He goes, I haven't read the book, so I don't know a lot about it. But it just seems to me like it's really hitting your team in a bad way. Yeah. Like, so you need to think about them. It's like a hint almost.
Right.
But he's not going to make it all better. He's not going to like recount like when I was in the Foot Clan. He's not going to do all that because he's kind of like, dude, like, but I think you totally nailed it. He seems like he's the lazy dad. But I think there's another way to look at it.
Yeah.
That he's actually like letting Leo fail, and it's probably cringy to watch him, and he probably wants to haul ass.
Right.
But remember when Leo's is standing there when they go off to fight again, like and Raph leads the team,
Mm-hmm.
he stands there and he's like really like bereft. He's like, dude, and Splinter does come to him
Yeah.
in that moment, and he
Yeah.
says like, dude, they won't follow me, and he's like, dude, you just go, like
Right.
go do it.
Right.
But it does play a little bit into Lazy Dad if you look at it the other way, right? So
in the
it really,
comedy way, yes, it does.
in the comedy way, him trying to sneak away.
Yes.
You totally nailed that. That's a 100. That kid wishes he got them rocket shoes. He's like, I could have ordered them. I said, I'm a plan B. I'm gonna wait. All this stuff like that. And he wished he had them rocket shoes right then because Leo's left holding the bag, and then there's Splinter, and he's like, oh, I'm trying to get away from this. Oh, shit.
Right.
Rocket shoes. Yeah.
Like Leo's holding the bag of cold queso, and Splinter's got to heat it up. You know what I'm saying? And that's
that's dude.
the thing.
And so like,
I love.
But
this.
no, you have a really good point. You have a really good point. Like I think there's two ways of looking at it with Splinter.
Right.
I agree that like it's hard because the theory of like that I kind of brought up about like the other way to see it, right? That he was actually being like a better sensei, right?
Yeah.
Like by letting him fail, like you said, like touch the burner.
Yeah.
The problem is that's not so backed up by Splinter in this series as much as Lazy Dad is.
That's true.
Like,
I mean, we did see him with.
So you know what I mean?
Yeah. We saw him with Venus though. At the end of the Unchain My Heart, where he's like in there trying to help her and coaching her, but he's more like coach isn't really the right word, but kind of, but there is a difference, I feel like. And he's not really pushing the turtles so much as he is in the 87 animated series. And he's not
well, I think that's why they took the teenage out of it. They're trying to age them up, right? They're Ninja Turtles. They've already learned they can drive, dude. Like, and I know that they could drive the party wagon back in the day. I know that, true. But in this show, it's a real actual car. So like, I think it impresses more on you. Like they can actually drive a Hummer, right? Like because it's a live action, you know. And I think that I could see that one of the writing mandates may have been in the kind of the show Bible that like the way we illustrate that these turtles are older is they live with Splinter, but Splinter is no longer their master.
Yeah.
Remember that this show was initially hyped as a new series for Turtles.
Right.
Like they talked about a new Turtle series, and a lot of people thought it was going to be another animated series, but more in the feel of Image, more in the feel of Mirage. There was a lot of people going, okay, like I like the Turtles, but like 87 was getting old, and they had those red skies. So they're like, dude, if you started off the bat with red skies, like maybe this is some like X-Men animated series like level shit, dude, like give it to me.
Right.
So I think that part of the mandate for this show was these aren't the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So I think Splinter's goals are different here. I think that he's written different.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't know. I just
for better or for worse.
Right, of course. But
you know what I mean?
I don't know. I took a lot from this. I think we are giving it a lot of like credit. Yeah. But still, I think I enjoyed this. I thought it was a fun episode. So well
it was just a fun it was a fun episode to watch. And it didn't make you go, did he say clang? Is that a clang? It's like, no, it's just fun.
It's just fun.
Like, just enjoy it.
Yeah, it's cool. And it's got just enough on there to just make it gives it some substance, and that's that's all I could ask for. Well,
you and me, bro, we're gonna find that meat on the bone.
We are.
You know what I'm saying? You might be thinking you're looking at just a bare ass bone, but like we leave behind chicken wing bones that look like fossils. You know what I'm saying? Like there ain't a gristle on.
Nothing.
We got all that meat.
We get all that meat. Well, if you like getting all that meat, let us know in the comments here on on YouTube. Jesus. And then also you can email us at the meat loving daddies of turtlesoup.com. No, turtlesoupshow.com. You can find all our website there because that's where all of the website is. And you can sorry, I'm just rambling. You can email us at turtlesoupshow@gmail.com. Any questions, concerns, thoughts, comments? Turtles come out and fight that. Turtles come out and eat that. Who knows? And we could come up with all kinds of new segments. Was that you writing an email?
No.
Oh, I thought you were really,
no, it's obnoxious. This speaker, I'm gonna call it out.
Oh, dang.
the JBL Flip 6.
Yeah.
I love JBL Flip speakers. They
Yeah.
are so awesome.
They are.
I bought this brand new Flip 6 because I was like, boys, I need to upgrade. I think my last one was a Flip 3.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna upgrade because I love that boy and he's so good. It was great. It's a great speaker.
Right.
Now, it doesn't like the voltage or something of the charger I'm putting in it or something like that. It charges for a little bit, then it plays this because it doesn't like it.
Yeah.
And it won't charge while it does that. I looked it up online. This is just a problem with this model. And I'm like, so it won't charge then. So that's stupid.
That is stupid.
Anyway.
Well, if you're not stupid like this thing, yeah, turtlesoupshow@gmail.com.
No, you're not that dumb.
Yeah, and then if you want to follow us on Instagram, Turtle Soup Show with the underscores between each word. And what else is there? Oh, Patreon. If you want to be a patron, throw some pennies our way. Make sure that we're not saying clang and having any clones that don't say clang either.
Give a dollar, make you holler.
Precisely. And I couldn't have said it better. And patreon.com, Facebook group, we're on there a lot too. And a lot of cool Turtletarians are there as well. And so I think that that's going to do it for us tonight. So thanks for everyone that joined us on YouTube, and thanks for all of the listeners just elsewhere in time. And we'll be back hopefully next week with some more episode reviews. And until then, else time.